Welcome to Common Unity, the podcast that unveils the unique life stories shaping the individuals of today.
Often, it's scary, right? When you're going to start a business, and I've had a few people be like, how do you just take the leap?
When you play to your strengths, you experience ease, excellence, and enjoyment.
Yeah, right time, right place, but you put yourself in that place. That luck never happened without all the work that led to you being in that place at that time.
Who cares how people look at them? Whatever keeps you ticking, until you get to the next thing and figure it out.
Join us as we unravel the triumphs, challenges, and pivotal moments that have crafted the past of our guests. I'm Jason Fox.
And I'm Nick Fennell.
Let's get into the show. Should we have a podcast?
Should we have a podcast?
Well, we've got no guests. You've just got us today. We thought we actually haven't really recapped on where our lives are since Nick joined Common Unity. So thanks, Nick. You've definitely taken some of the workload off me because, as you might hear during this podcast, I live a pretty scattered life, trying to do too many things. And Nick's taken the editing side of it off me, which is working really well.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to be a part of it. I think we've had some great guests and some good conversations, and I learn something every time, and I'm really enjoying doing the podcast together.
Yeah, no, it is good. It's good. And on that, we need you guys to,
like and subscribe. Yeah,
pretty much. Just share it. If you're getting value from what we're doing, get it out to more people. So, should we start with me or you want to start with you?
No, you can start with you if you like.
Okay, so basically, I think episode 1 of Common Unity, if you haven't heard it, is my life story. It covers off where I went to school, where I've first jobs that came through to me landing in finance. When I ran that episode, I was still with a company called Credit One, brokering finance. And along the way, I think it was June, July last year, joined a larger company with about 36 people on our team, which is a full financial advice provider, which means they've got risk insurance, KiwiSaver, mortgages, business lending, which I already do, and the asset piece as well, the cars, boats, trucks, machinery. In that now I've got a team of 3 and I own 49%. 51% is always held by the master company. I own the other controlling share. And yeah, it's been a bit of a journey, that one. It's gone from me earning pretty good money and playing golf and having a cool lifestyle to earning way less money and working 70 hours a week. So that's come from, there's one thing just doing the finance deals, but building a business is a whole other thing. So a lot of lessons in the time of marketing, building websites, APIs. So we've got websites that are talking to other websites. So it's pulling data from different things and sending data out. There's a whole lot of moving parts, compliance and so forth, and it chews up a lot of my time. But it's been an awesome journey. I've learned a lot on the way through. I've got some pretty cool team members, like business partner Daniel is the other director, and Tim Pearson, which is pretty well renowned in the Waikato area. But look, the business is set for expansion, so we will be looking to employ different roles. We'll need some administrator type people, we'll need people writing deals. So if it's something you've ever wondered about finance, I'd love to have a conversation with you. We've got this new office where this is being recorded. That's new as well. We used to be upstairs, and the podcast studio was a part of my office. Now I've got an office. It's probably about 200 square meters. It's got 10-seater boardroom there, 4-seater breakout room, a few offices, bar leaners, fridges, toilets, bathrooms, kitchens, you name it. And the
Shower.
Even got a shower. That's right. So dirty. So anyway, we're set to grow, and we need kick-ass people on our team. My job as a GM is not to know everything, it's to find the right people that can do the parts within that business well. So if you think you'd like to work with me, let's start a conversation. Probably not going to employ anyone tomorrow, but definitely will be this year. So that's the quantum piece. There's obviously profitable pathways. I think that was part of the first podcast. It may have been born afterwards. So Profitable Pathways is my bookkeeping business for heavy transport, where we're forecasting customers and giving advice month to month. We've got some really good customers that are doing well in that business. It's on the back burner a little bit because I've got so much going on with other things, but it's still a focus point. So if you're in heavy transport and you're struggling, you need some advice, need some forecasting, any of that sort of stuff, I'd love to hear from you on that stuff. But that's just, I've got a book keeping team that do a lot of that work for me. So I'm a little bit hands off on it and just have to do a few hours each month with the customers that are involved with us. Then there's the Action membership piece. Nick, you know a bit about Action membership. Sorry,
Yeah.
just knocked my bottle over.
I think it's pretty cool business because of the fact that you get to share what you're doing with people who park what they're up to listen what you're doing, you know, like every second week, which I find a really good resetter because you set your goals for the next 2 weeks, and then after that 2 weeks, well, when that end of that 2 weeks is coming up, you don't want to just be that guy that comes in every time saying, no, I didn't do it. I know I didn't do it. And so just having that bi-week, just fortnightly checkup means that you kind of overstep and push the boat out a bit further than you would have if you didn't have one of those meetings coming up. Because I find it's another gear to shift into, just knowing that I'm going to have to be accountable to the people that I told, you know, less than 2 weeks ago, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah, this is what I always talk about with Action membership is if you're, say, the CEO of Fonterra and you're telling your board of directors this is where we're going with the business, next month and probably every 3 months they're going to be sitting down and going, where'd you get to with that business? And why aren't you there yet? There's people keeping you accountable in that role. And the biggest businesses around the world, there's others keeping whoever's steering that ship accountable. As a boss within your business, you're going, hey, Sam, it's 8:15. Why weren't you here at 8? You're keeping all your staff accountable. But when you say, hey, these are the goals for my business and this is where I want to go to, and then your mate goes, hey, bro, it's a nice day, we're going fishing, and you drop everything and you run, that's awesome. And I get it. I've done it myself, but it's not actually pulling you towards your goals. So therefore, you're on the back burner 2-3 months and things get forgotten about. So having the community, so Action membership is based on basically, what's the word? Care?
Like
There's a word for that when a word called care. So it's community, accountability, results in education.
Oh, an acronym.
That's the guy.
There we go.
That's the guy. See, this guy probably went to school a bit more than me. So yeah, care, community, accountability, results in education. And what Nick's really talking about is, one, the community, the people that are sitting around you, that you can bounce a number of things off, and people will be very vulnerable in this community. They often in a business, there's two directors, and that director's often the wife or the husband, depending on what sex you are. And if you are having a director's dispute, who do you speak to about these things? Well, that's where we're here, you know, and most of the people in the business are in the same situation. So whatever it is that you've gone through, there's probably someone in the room that's been through it before, and it speeds up that process, whatever it might be. Whether it's hiring staff, firing staff, marketing, you name it, we've got people in the room that cover a lot of things off. Then there's the accountability piece, which is exactly what Nick's saying. You don't want to be the only one that shows up going, oh no, I haven't hit my goals.
No one wants to be that guy.
You don't want to be
Especially,
that guy.
even if it's once, like there's unforeseen circumstances or whatever, but you just want to consistently come and be that guy.
And we don't want those people in our group either. Like if that's you, it's probably not for you. If you're going to just say you're going to do something and you've got no intention of going through with it, you're wasting all of our time. We want doers. So that's the accountability results. Once you've been accountable, you're going to see the results. And then the education, we sit down for about an hour each month and cover off some stuff that's going to help you grow your business. We've got quite a lot of tools and different tips in that. So it's going well. It's been going well in Tauranga. It took us a bit of refining from version 1, because Action Curve, our business, which sits under basically Action Coach, which is the largest global coaching business in the world. There are thousands of coaches around the world that sit under Action Coach, but they created a program. We found that the program probably wasn't right for our members, so we tweaked it with our core group of initial members to get to where it is today, and we are seeing those results. Would you agree?
Yeah.
I think
good.
I think it's going well. I look forward to it. I'm not going to bag BNI, but if you go to a BNI, you're there for an hour and a half, you talk for 90 seconds, you got your elevator pitch and your reps and referrals at the end of it, and all you're doing is promoting your business to a group of people in the room that largely know what you do already. We're actually sitting down going, where are you struggling? What are your pain points right now? And then the collective intelligence of the room can sit down and try and resolve that issue. And we've seen people we've already had people leave the program because they feel they don't need us anymore because their business is systemized and so forth, and their lives are easier. One of them's chasing sports cars or pit crewing for high-end race cars all around the world at the moment. So hat off to him. He got his business where it needed to be so he could get that time back. So yeah, that's Action Membership. If you're interested, love to hear from you again. We've got Tauranga live and kicking and very close to launching Hamilton. So if you're in the Waikato, please DM us and we'll get you along to one of our first events. And you'd think that would be all of it. But yeah, we took delivery of a couple of houses this year that were in build. As you read that or listen to this, hopefully we've sold our home and we're moving into another home for our family. So that's all going pretty good. Always something on the go there. And then you might go, Jason, where have you gone? You used to be a little bit fatter, thicker than you are right now. And you're right. I used to also have a beer sitting beside me. And the reason there's not, because I do love a beer, is I'm doing 75 hard right now. And I think 75 hard, I wasn't a weight loss thing for me. It was what I've just described to you was quite a lot going on, and I wanted to be the person I needed to be to achieve the goals. So 75 hard meant that I stopped drinking, cut a lot of long lunches and things, which are all good fun, but they're not pulling me towards where I want to be in life. So yeah, I cut that. We're day 53 today, and as I sit here, 10.7 kgs down, which is great. It's awesome. I have to go and buy a new wardrobe of clothes. But the real lessons in it have been, I think, the extra time that you do have in a day that you make excuses for. Everyone's like, I don't have time for that. You're busy. I try not to say that I'm busy. My life is hectic. I try not to say that I'm busy. Although I do feel like I probably am at times. But, I wasn't getting to the gym previously, or I was only getting there 3 days a week. Well, now I'm doing 2 45 minutes workouts each day and I'm fitting it in. I'm making the time. So it's been a real lesson to myself to prove that I do have that time in the day. And they say it takes 21 days to form a habit. Well, I've just gone over 42 and almost on my way to my next lot of 21. So yeah, I'd like to think these habits are pretty well solidified. Will I keep doing 2 workouts a day? Probably not, but I'll definitely drop back to at least the 1 and still for 45 minutes or maybe an hour, get a little bit of that time back. Do I watch TV anymore? Not really.
That's good.
Because you got to read the book when you get home and stuff. And did I really watch TV? No. Sometimes Anna and I would binge watch some stuff, but largely it was always podcast or YouTube. Sometimes it was supercars, DDE, stuff like that. I do love my cars, but I don't have time because when I get home tonight from doing all this podcast stuff, I've got to go for a walk. I've had my 1 workout. So, but it just shows how much extra time you do have throughout the day. But the real lesson in all of this for me was how much better our relationship's going. Our relationship's been awesome, and I won't say it's drinking related, but it sort of is, because the extrovert in me, say we went to Leadfoot Ranch with our car recently, and there was 50 cars, but I think there was about 8 or 10 that were here for the final dinner on the last for a couple of the nights that we went out to, which was the core group, not the day stayers. And usually I'd be first to the bar, and I wanted to be at the bar because I wanted to sit there and talk to all the people, have a few drinks, social lubricant, have a great laugh, get to know these people, and then at some point would probably come in after me because she was doing something else. She'd leave before me, and then I'd get home at night and then would go off and do whatever we're doing for the day. Well, this time I was needing to go for a walk when we got home, so we went for a nice walk along in a city that we don't spend a lot of time in, so you're enjoying the scenery and stuff like that. We had dinner. It was a bit loud because I wasn't drinking, so I wasn't talking over everyone else that was in there. And in that, I was like, all right, should we go? Like, yeah, we'll duck off, eh? And then because we were staying in a nice place, it had a pool, we had a swim at night and different things. Like, we were enjoying different parts of the world. Went to Americana in New Plymouth. Again, would normally probably sit in a bar, have a few drinks and watch all the cars go past for a few hours and have a few laughs. Instead, we got e-bikes and we rode right through the city and right around the coastline and different things. So we're really seeing different parts of the world, which is a reminder to me that there's more than just the social aspect. There's a lot to be explored. So I think that's been the biggest thing for me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's on. Because it does change. Like, I found I've wound back my drinking quite a lot, like this year, and
Yeah.
like it's just because catching up with you, obviously we're not having beers. Like, we'd probably be having a beer now if you weren't doing 75 hard.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and
you're an instigator as much as I am. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so good to see you. Want a beer? Like, it's just been hospitable. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, great. You're in my office. Thank you for your time. Can I give you a beer? Are you sure you don't want a beer?
yeah.
It's 10 a.m.
Yeah,
There's beer.
Yeah, but I've found that once you just wind back on the drinking part, not that it was ever even, well, I don't think it was a problem, And
No, I
then,
don't feel it was really.
but you just kind of, I don't know, you just don't do the same things. Your attention changes, the things that you pay attention to change.
Yep.
I spend way more time with my boy Gus, and it's just, I don't know, I found that since I don't drink as often, it's just kind of cleared up my afternoons, like and evenings. And I work a lot harder than I could, even though I still do like a beer, and I still have a beer. I just don't have like 6 beers.
Yeah.
10 beers.
6 plus 10.
Yeah, 6 plus 10, yeah. So...
Yeah, look, and that's a big part of it. And what I've also found in that with the not drinking is my ability to handle pressure has been a lot better, which is good because I am loaded up with quite a bit of pressure at the moment and different things, and it's a lot calmer. Handle bad news a bit easier. You're not sort of spiky. You're not having a few drinks, waking up hungover, feeling tired, having some bloody McDonald's on the way to work, and then smashing caffeine, and you've got all these peaks and troughs. You're just quite level, I think.
Yeah, man.
And Nick's obviously the avid ice bather, so he's probably never really gone to the McDonald's and stuff to the degree that probably I did. But it's been awesome, and I do think that a lot of these habits will be here to stay. And it's definitely something that I could do every basically 3 months, 75 days, 2.5. But I could do it every year, I think.
Yeah.
Especially if I start packing on weight for poor habits again. Hopefully I don't, but it's a good tune-up.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking about doing it, I'd say do it. Be honest with yourself. The thing with 75 hard is it's got a very high failure rate, but there's also a lot of people that say they've done it and they haven't. And I think, like the weight loss with me is a pretty clear indication that I'm following the diet. I'm not drinking the alcohol. I'm doing the things. And the people that say they've done it and probably haven't done it, the people that have done it know.
Yeah.
They know because they say you're different afterwards. So we'll see. I'm still 3 weeks away from being different. But I do feel different. Yeah. So if you're looking at doing it, I just say fucking dig in. But be honest with yourself. Because you're only cheating yourself if you try and cut corners. And don't do 75 soft. That's a cop out. Yeah, it's better than not doing something, but just dig in, do it properly.
Well, yeah, that's a good segue into what I do. That's the opposite ethos to what I have, but that's fine. If it works, it works.
Yeah.
Like, I'm on for whatever works with anyone. But in that same realm, I've been trying to, maintain a fit body and like eat well and all of the things that you do in 75 hard, but I just couldn't do a 75 hard. And so I just have been slowly trying to build on habits over time. So then I can maintain whatever thing. Because I think for me, it seems to take like a year to at least start building the habit, not 21 days.
Yeah.
Before I'll start craving the thing when I don't do it.
Like the ice bath.
Yeah, the ice bath. Like this morning's ice bath was 0.5 degrees, which I would never have done prior. But now, after having done them for over a year straight, easily, and sometimes 3 in a day, often 2 in a day, but yeah, at least 1 every day.
They are addictive though, eh? Like I went around and had my first one with Nick the other day. I had a snow melt one recently. Mm-hmm. It's probably colder than the other one because you're moving, like I was in deeper water, so you felt it a bit more. But yeah, jumped in Nick's one the other day, and when you hop out and you get back up to temperature pretty quickly because all of a sudden the outside world's real warm, you're like, should I get in again? That's how I feel anyway. I feel pretty good because like they say, apparently, if anyone's done cocaine in an ice bath, they could probably confirm that, but they say it's like doing a line of cocaine. So I don't know, but you feel pretty good hopping out of that ice bath.
Yeah. I can't. Yeah, it's definitely not a lot of cocaine, but like you feel amazing. And for waking yourself up to start your day, you are starting your day like if you're normally in second gear and then you idle into third and then finally hit fourth by 10 o'clock in the morning. If you want to just be in fourth gear from like 6:30 a.m., just hissing, nice bar's great for that because you never want to get in there. You're always having to battle yourself. Every day there's a different. Because I went through the phases of telling myself I'm not going to die. When have you ever gotten out of one without enjoying it? There are a whole bunch of things I had to tell myself. But then it wasn't until I did a 12-minute one that gave me the willpower to like do them easily.
3 minutes is easy once you've done 12, right?
Because you're comparing it to 12.
Yeah.
And so that's why I do, since having that revelation, I've thought about the 75 hard a lot and doing it just to try and extend your just comfort zone so massively. So that anytime something's hard, because it's the same with the fasting, I think I've already talked about this on here, but I did a 3-day fast, and ever since that, I've never been hungry, pretty much. You get to 10 o'clock in the morning, and, you think, oh, I'm pretty hungry. And then if it gets to lunchtime, you still haven't had breakfast, you're like, oh my God, I'm starving, I'll chew my arm off.
Yep.
And then at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, if it gets to then, you're like, I just need to eat, stop whatever I'm doing and eat. And that feeling just doesn't appear anymore after you've done a 3-day fast because you're like, hang on, I can do 2.5 days more than this.
Yeah, so I haven't done a 3-day fast, but I started fasting a couple of years ago. There was another time where I lost about 10 kgs over 3 months because I'm good at losing it and then I find it all. But I'm currently back to my 30-year-old weight, so yay. Yay for me. But in that fasting, what I learnt was probably I thought that getting up and having a couple of poached eggs on some toast and stuff was good for me, but the poached eggs, yes, probably not the bread so much. And when you start cutting that stuff off, you're not getting almost that sugar craving, which makes you feel like you're hungry. Because, I'm the same. I can't say I've done a 3-day fast, but I can comfortably go through to 1 o'clock without eating. And then I'm like, I should eat. And that's about maintaining some muscle still, so I don't wither away into a cross-country runner or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely fast. Give it a go. It's fantastic. Yeah.
Well, just all those little things that extend your comfort zone out so that every time something becomes hard, you relate it to, it's like when I went on a hunting trip with one of my friends. It was like the gnarliest thing I've ever done ever. And then get back and it's like, am I tired? No, I'm not really.
Yeah.
I'm not tired. Hey, especially when you're doing something physical. Like I related back to that, and I was like crawling the last river with a deer on my back, like hands and knees, like nearly felt like I was going to die. Like rolled both my ankles on the way down the hill.
Pretty common hunting story, I'd say.
And then you just kind of like,
real character building.
Everything, so character building. And so that's a good segue into what's happened for me since I was last on the podcast, which was last week, but I was on as a guest a year and a half ago. If anyone hasn't seen it, it was episode like 12 or 13, I think, 13, something like that. And
look for Nick.
Yeah, and so then I just kind of really started leaning into this nothing but everything business that I started, which is the one about how people can just use their thoughts to find energy by using perspective rather than willpower, making yourself. And so that has evolved a lot in the year and a half.
You picked up a number of clients, kind of even guests that have been on the podcast, haven't you?
Yeah,
myself included.
Yes, it was actually wicked. Coming on this podcast was one of the better things I ever did.
Yeah, who would have thought that you go on a podcast and then you end up the host of the podcast?
Yeah, I know.
What a hijack.
What a hijack. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah.
Because like a year and a half ago when I first came on this podcast, I was so nervous. And like I couldn't string a sentence together, I felt, even though somehow it was an hour and 40 minutes long.
I don't think it was that you couldn't string a sentence together. I think it was hard for you to articulate what nothing but everything is. And that up until a conversation we had during Action Membership, when you're like, oh, what's real easy is I got like this red balloon and I go, shh, I got this green balloon and I go, shh, and everyone's like, that's it. That's how you describe it. Yeah. Which you can describe that maybe to people right now.
Yeah, so the idea that I have is that your thoughts feed how you feel. And so in a situation that's hard or difficult, if you see it as hard and difficult, you feel the feeling. And if it's something that someone else is doing to you and it builds tension, that's the red balloon. And so just say you're on your way to work and you stand in dog poo and you're like, the dog always poos there, and you blow up this red balloon, and then you're on your way to work and there's traffic and roadworks and you go, and it fills up the tension balloon, and then you get to work and all someone did was maybe put their dirty spoon into your coffee cup or something like that, and you're just like, now you lose it at that person because your red balloon was full. And then the yellow balloon would be, in those moments, you're just trying to make up a story for yourself to try and make it not so annoying. Not because that's going to make you feel better, which it does, and it has a flow-on effect. It's because that means the next thing that I go into, I'm going to have a different attitude. And so when the traffic comes on, I can choose to turn up the music or pick my favorite song on Spotify. And then when I get to work and that person puts that spoon in my cup, I'm just like, no, well, I probably would just throw the teaspoon out and drink the coffee without even worrying about it because I'm feeling in a good mood, as opposed to losing the plot at them saying, why did you just do that, you idiot? And so the snowballing effect down the line of finding ways to trick yourself into feeling good in the moment not only makes you feel good by habit, it allows you to operate in the world in a better way that gives you more opportunity.
So there's two conversations here because we're talking about nothing but everything, but this leads into loop 2. So we'll get to loop 2 shortly.
Yeah.
So how have you helped people? Basically, I can talk about my experience. Yeah. So Nick sat down, he made a video for me, and basically it was the start of last year, and we set out basically what I wanted to achieve with some motivational quotes that really hit home for me, that the most inspirational guy, which I would say is probably the biggest, even though he's on social media, I've never met him in person, has had the biggest influence on my life through his daily reels and different things. And hearing those messages every time I hear his voice, it almost flips me into that green balloon. I'm like, yeah, that's right. That is the way I need to be tracking or what I need to be doing. So having that video and playing that every morning to start your day, fourth gear.
Fourth gear.
Without the ice bath.
Yeah, so I try to set people's minds up. So I just use their favourite songs, scenes out of their favourite movies. Like if you're into podcasting, who's your favourite podcast host? Those sorts of things. And I find little inspirational parts and then weave together a common thread that speaks back to that person about how they like to view the world. And it always hits home in such a way that it gives them that extra gear to shift into. Because I ran a money back guarantee on giving people goosebumps or shedding a tear, and every single person either got covered in goosebumps or shed a tear on receiving their video. So that gave me lots of hope in the fact that the system works, and compiling information like this and presenting it back to someone gives them lots of energy. Yeah. But then how do you scale it? And so that was kind of the big issue. And then just luckily my first ever paid customer is now my business partner and co-founder of another business called Loop 2, which is the exact same thing, just systemized and trying to be scalable. And
more accessible to people, right? Because obviously if you're going to pay Nick to sit down and edit and create a bespoke video for you for 40 hours of the week or something, that means he can only build one video a week, and that's going to come at a cost because that's a whole week's worth of salary for him as an expert in the field. And not just creating a video, it's got to give you goosebumps or shed a tear. So that comes at a cost. However, Loop 2, can I say?
Yeah, you can say.
Is it free?
Yeah, it is at the moment. Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
Okay, so where would they find that if they wanted to get in on some of these good vibes?
So it's loop2.xyz is the website, and where at the moment you select 3 focus points to focus on. And so these focus points, there's set ones that you can choose from, and they've got videos attached already. And these are things that you want to try and amplify in your life, whether it's you realize you need to, like just say you want to do 75 hard. You could make a focus point about 75 hard and the reasons why you want to have achieved it. And then it's about getting in the repetitions of that thought so that when you go to do your second workout, 45-minute workout tonight, but it's decided to rain and the wind's picked up and you kind of can't be bothered. You need to have so you need to have a good argument in the back of your mind and 5 reasons why you should be going out there and doing that walk, because otherwise you just won't. And so it's a way to stack. So Loop 2 is a way to stack all of the reasons why you should do what you know you should do, but kind of don't. And so it's just a fun and easy way to lean into all of the things you know you should be doing more of, and just naturally not care about all the other things you were distracting yourself with.
Yeah, that's one way of using it, is obviously to motivate yourself to get out of bed, but it's also for the negative emotion too, isn't it?
Yep.
Like, every time I get home, the kids have left the dishes on the bench, which is one that winds me up because I like to go home to a clean home. Like,
Yep.
the dishwasher's directly underneath it, just put it inside the dishwasher. And you get that 3 days in a row. Like, why is it every day I come home?
Yeah. So
you can create a loop for that, correct?
yeah, you could create a loop for that. That one would be dependent on the person and how. So if you get stuck in loop2.xyz, if you get stuck at all, there's a book a call function, and I literally will do a 30-minute one-on-one chat with you to try and pick the best focus points for you. And I'm willing to do that for anyone that signs up, because I want them to have good focus points that actually move the dial in their life. Because if you don't pick good focus points, if you just say, I want to eat less biscuits, like, yeah, you'll eat less biscuits, but is that really going to move the dial?
Yeah.
And so you'll get bored. You're like, yeah, that works, but I don't really care about eating less biscuits, and so you'll do something different. But if you make it meaningful and enjoyable to get the reps in, then you'll make changes that actually make a difference. And one of the ways that we've found, because I'm always focusing on how to get more birds with less stones, and one way to do that with the focus points is to create an alter ego. That just came about from, so as the app's been evolving, all of the ways to use it have been evolving at the same time. And something new comes up pretty much every week at the moment. But creating an alter ego has been the biggest change for everyone within the community. It's the top picked focus point, and it's every time we have a loop meeting, loop up. Yep. Every time we have a loop up with the people who are using the app, and we ask people to share what their best focus point is that's moving the dial, it's always the alter ego, pretty much every single time.
Yeah, you're changing your identity, aren't you? It's a little bit like what I'm doing with the 75 Hard. Is my identity was I'm available for a beer whenever someone asks me, almost. Like, oh yeah, cool, 2 o'clock on a Thursday, I'm there. 12 o'clock on a Friday, I'm there. Now my identity is, no, I'm doing 75 Hard and I exercise twice a day and I'm in that. So for, I suppose, the alter ego, the humble Greg, for example.
Yeah, it's one of mine,
Yeah. So how does Humble Greg help you?
So Humble Greg, again, came up because you try to make an alter ego that gives you all of the attributes that you want. So for yourself, you could create an alter ego who's the super dad and the super businessman, super husband that drives supercars, you know? And
www.jasonfox.co.nz.
yeah. And so, I like to create with AI a little image of what this person is, and then you describe what they do that's better than you. And then in moments when you can't find the energy, instead of getting down on yourself that you can't find the energy or not doing the thing, just think, what would Super Jason do, or what would Humble Greg do? For me, I created Infinity Nick, and then did too many loops, made myself too intense, and then created another alter ego called Humble Greg, which I've now far outweighed the loops on than the Infinity Nick one, which I created first up, because I realized I was getting into altercations with other people who are, extroverts, big egos, and then instead of sitting back and figuring out, well, what's this person done with all their energy and learning, I would then be like, we're trying to prove probably similar points.
Sparking off each other. Yeah, too similar.
And so, so Humble Greg came out, and then Humble Greg's all about, it's not about what you do, it's about how you make people feel. And so I focus on making people feel good when I hang out with them. And it involves a lot more listening, and it involves like making quirky jokes and just stopping your mind from thinking of the next sentence while someone else is. There's so many little things that have come from Humble Greg that, which is an alter ego that I would never have thought of making until using Loop 2. So it's really good for speeding life up if you need to do more, but it's also really good for slowing life down if you're really stressed and you don't have enough time, because you can you can zoom out, give yourself some big picture overviews of of what balance is to you. And then when you do enough repetitions of that viewpoint, when it comes time to make decisions, you will naturally start making decisions from the viewpoint that you've set up yourself and how you want to change. So then, if you want to, so when you come home and your dishes are on the bench and you're like, oh my God, again, you could maybe have the view of, depends on what works for you. We'll go through it. So, because if it happens every day, why would I let it upset me every day? Even though, because it's them that have to change before I can feel good.
Yeah.
And then
No one can make you feel a certain way. It's your own emotions.
Yeah. And so you either end up having to find a loop for tolerating the mess that's there, or a loop for just doing it anyway and putting in your good karma bank. Because that's what I've found. If there's ever anything that I have to do that I'm like, why am I having to do this? That other person should have done it. I think I'm just going to do it anyway, and then smile in the background because I believe in karma, and I think that's just going to my good karma bank. And then as I'm walking through town, even just sometimes when I have a little bit of a spring in my step, and I think, yeah, it's because I got a really big, full karma bank, and that gives me a little bit more energy. So it's whatever loop works for you and how you like to think. Whether you think the world's completely random or you're religious, we just put your point where it is, describe why it is, where it is, and then if you cut enough repetitions and the reasons are strong enough, you will just continue to push forward in that path. You won't have to deviate so far off track. And it's and creating the focus points is actually the skill that you develop.
Yeah, it comes down to you got to be very careful of what it is that you're telling yourself, right? I used to have in my office, and you'd remember on my blackboard I used to have do more, and I'd get to work and I was like, do more with your day, do more with life. Well, what did I do? I just started every business I could ever think of and get involved and say yes to everyone. And hence why I've got this busy, hectic life of 2 podcasts and multiple businesses and multiple business partners now. And then I changed my message recently to focus, like follow one course until successful. So just stay on that one thing. And it's helped me push like profitable pathways, although my clients and stuff are important and I'm happy to bring other people in. That's a feel-good thing for me, but what pays the bills is quantum asset finance. So I'm able to push that stuff down to focus on quantum asset finance to get it to where it needs to be before I maybe step away from it a little bit and then focus on, say, profitable pathways again. So that messaging that you tell yourself is hyper important. So getting the loop and doing those reps every day is reprogramming yourself, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I've even got a focus point on my wedding vows, and I can.
That's
cool. Then I've done it was our anniversary yesterday, and she got to stay at A&E in the hospital all night. I was just called her and said happy wedding anniversary. She's with the sick kid, but that's fine. For a surprise for her, I showed her that I'd made a focus point of our wedding vows and done enough loops to have memorized our wedding vows. Yeah, which is quite cool. And she was like, "Oh, that's wicked." Because one of my wedding vows is actually I promised to revisit my wedding vows throughout our marriage. And I remembered that I said that. And now with looping, I can just chuck it in as a focus point, cut a rep of it every now and then always have it on the forefront of my mind and make sure I'm operating out of what I said I would do, when I got married.
I'm going to well up, mate. You bloody
yeah.
That's so awesome because when you start going back to those moments, you're like, oh yeah, that's the way I felt on that day and everything else, and then you come home and your relationship's going to be stronger for keeping that front of mind rather than throwing it in the trash bin in the back of the brain.
Words like I said that I'm going to continuously work on my listening and my patience. And now, my family members that haven't spent as much time with me lately would laugh if I told them I call myself patient. It's hilarious for them to think that I would call myself patient, but I'm very patient. Yeah. And my wife would say that I'm patient, and she would say that she's nowhere near as patient. And that's just a thing that I've developed over just focusing on and putting meaning behind the reasons why I want to be doing it. Because when you find the right meaning to back it up, it just overrules all of the voices in your head saying like, don't do it today. Like, it could be done tomorrow. Do you have to get in the ice bath every day?
Yeah.
Like all those voices just kind of just disappear once you've got strong enough meaning. And so, I'm just trying to find the best ways to deliver the most amount of fuel to people at scale. And by fuel, I mean energy to do whatever it is that you want to do. Do you need to be more patient with your kids? Do you need to be able to do those dishes that you don't want to do? Do you need to be able to work out every day? Whatever it is that you're trying to do, you can add more fuel to the machine by looping meaning in behind it. And so, we're just at the point now where we released our app, and it became live on the 28th of December last year. So it's only just recent, and we're just still working out all the bugs. We've got a development team going on it all day, every day at the moment. And we've just signed up our first influencer, and we're focusing on parents first. But this is available to anyone, and there is a free 30-minute onboarding with me if you book a call on the website, and I'll go through and help you try to find really meaningful focus points to use.
That's a heck of a call to action, people.
Yeah.
A free 30-minute. If 100 people download that, that's 300 hours he's going to have to find out of his life to talk to you all. So take him up on it. Take him up on it, because it's free. So he's not even earning anything anywhere currently for it. He's given all of his time to help you become a better version of yourself. Yeah.
Well, I just know that the value is here, and that if people get their focus points right, it really does make a difference. And then if I can do that, it just changes someone's life. It can do. And the people that are doing it and getting in the repetitions are noticing massive changes in how they act. And there'll just become a point where it adds so much value, people feel stupid not doing it. And then at that point, we will only be charging like $10 a month is our maximum charge that we will be. So it's $2.50 a week. If you can't find half a coffee in 1 week, to then find this thing that is going to help you. Because as time goes on, the way to use this system is evolving, and you're being able to get way more birds with less stones as time goes on. So I'm pretty excited for where we're heading.
So when Nick says birds with stones, he's saying killing a bird with a stone.
More birds, less stones. So like you throw one stone, how many birds can you get with one stone?
Yeah.
And then loop 2, I feel like, is a way to get heaps of birds and ramp them up with one stone. Yeah.
It's more like using a bow and arrow and shooting a big row of birds sitting along a power line.
Or a shotgun, spray the bullets.
I mean, again, hell of a call to action. So there's nothing but everything, and also loop 2. So if you want to get the real personalised one-on-one video that can pump up your life, that's wicked. But actually, the free version that's accessible to everyone, and he's going to give you 30 minutes of his time for free.
That could be a good one to go for.
I would say, jump on it and check it out.
And I'm pretty excited that I've got the system down and everything, because segue into the last point there, that I have a second kid coming. And Jude, the midwife, said this weekend. So she's like, I will be surprised if I see you next Wednesday. So, which
is funny, because was Karina originally due around now, but then
she's due.
They moved it to the end of the month or something.
Yeah, they moved it to it was just a muck up and writing down
the measuring.
Yeah.
And then they went, it's going to be the end. And Karina's like, it's going to come 2 weeks early.
Yeah. And it's come earlier than the earlier presentation if it comes this weekend.
Yeah. Well, close to.
So that's, I'm just excited to have Loop 2 to help me find the energy I'm going to need to have a 2.5-year-old and a newborn and a new business and all of the things that come along with that. Because these were all developed heavily through having my first child and just not knowing how to make the changes as fast as I needed to
become the dad you need to be to raise a now 2.5-year-old. And I can say from the Snapchats I get and seeing you with them is you're one hell of a father. Like you're up first thing in daybreak every morning doing missions with them before you go to work and stuff. Like that's pretty rare. Most people are too busy busy to be able to spend that one-on-one time with their children. Yeah,
I literally do one-on-one time, special time with them every day, twice a day. And to me, it's the most important thing because it's got a pristine little hard drive. If you can set that thing up from scratch, like I know you're never going to get it right and there's always going to be things that happen, but if you can do your best to set that thing up from scratch, he's going to have just way less problems to have to unravel in later life, which we are both on the journey of doing ourselves.
So no staplers.
No staplers.
Everyone, no staplers.
And so, it's just, it's exciting to think that you can program a little human all the way up to adulthood. And I just know, like anything, if you put time in early, it gets way better down the track. And I just know that children are going to be the ultimate version of that, in my mind, is how I'm seeing it.
There used to be a saying, I think it was, give them the first 5 years, you'll get the man. I think that it's essentially saying the first 5 years of programming, that time you put into them is what you're going to get out.
Yeah.
And I was there for my son a lot when he was younger. And I still am.
Yeah.
He's homesick at the moment, actually. But he's 14 now, and he's a great person. Like, he's a good, well-rounded human.
Yeah.
So, like, I couldn't be prouder of the person that he's becoming. Yeah, I'd like him to start a side hustle, like an online business or something. But outside of that, as a person, he's great. He's awesome. So, yeah, I think you're going to see similar from your son.
Yeah. It's just fun to think about. And it gives me the energy to just keep doing better.
Yeah.
You know, can I put in the energy when I don't want to put it in? And if I can, that means the looping's working, the changes being made, and I'm stacking these skills to overcome and do things that are hard. Without it feeling hard, which is the other thing. So, because when you do set up the habit, you're not trying to force yourself to get up early in the morning. You're just waking up with energy, and like going back to sleep seems stupid. Like it's like, why would I do that? I've got things that I really enjoy doing that are out there.
Yeah.
You know,
and it's got to
get down to bed.
All of that sounds really good for your relationship too. Like, a lot of wives are the ones getting up and getting their kid out of bed and doing that sort of stuff. So you being there for Gus and giving Karina that little bit of time in the morning for herself is awesome.
Well, now that she's pregnant, and I got her to quit up her job as soon as she got pregnant with the first child, and then this one was very similar. And so, because I think that I know that the brain starts developing inside the womb. And so if the mum's stressed out, worried about things and what's going to happen, and is this,
sounds like she needs to be looping.
Well, she is looping, and that's the fantastic thing. So she's looping all of the ideas around childbirth.
Yeah.
And so she's much calmer coming into it, and she's much more, feels really prepared. She's got like all these little checklists and to-do lists for me that she was going through this morning, actually.
Yeah.
And like that's a much different experience going into giving birth, knowing that, she's had a calm pregnancy where she could sleep in. And those were some of the loops that I would tell myself when I getting up early. It's like, bro, let Karina sleep. She's got a baby growing inside her. She needs well sleep.
Yeah.
And then
something we can never understand.
And then even if I'm wrong, I'm still excited and getting up and doing the things I need to do with my son. And so even if I am wrong, it was good fuel. I used it, and that's kind of what looping is. It's you don't have to be right, and then backtracking goes, did I think the right thing or not? The kind of litmus test is, did I take the action? And if I took the action, then I thought the thought that gave me the fuel. And if I didn't take the action, then maybe I could think something stronger next time. And so it's finding the strong thoughts that push you through to take the action.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think we've covered it all off pretty well. If you don't want to have to hear us just blab on like we have for the last hour, then we need amazing guests. We've got some guests lined up, but we definitely need to lock in a few more. So who do you know? If you've got a great friend, or even if you don't want to reach out to them and you just go, hey, Jason or Nick, here's an Instagram handle or something, check this person out. We can go
a phone number to call.
Yeah, whatever. We can reach out to them and go, hey, we've had a look at your profile or heard a little bit about you, and we think you'd be great on the podcast because, it's about you guys, the listeners. It's awesome that we get to pick someone else's brain, and we get a lot from having these conversations, but we're doing it to share these conversations with the people that maybe don't have the access to them.
That's amazing.
That is amazing. So thanks again.
All right, round it up.
Wrap it up.
Cheers for listening.
Thank you.